this week's tip of the week is investing with your self-directed IRA. How many of you are aware that you can use your IRA to invest in real estate? Okay, for the rest of you, you know you can use your IRA to invest in real estate. Yes, if you have a 401k, I mean, you probably have access to money that you didn't even know about. If you have a 401k or an IRA, you can convert it into something called a self-directed IRA. And once you convert it into a self-directed IRA, then at that moment, you can use that money to invest in real estate, to buy rental properties, to invest in notes. And Olivia, can you push go live on the little stream there? Push that right there. All right, and tell me when it's going. To invest in real estate, to loan money to other real estate investors. You can invest in multifamily. Some of you here earlier when I talked about investing in multifamily. If somebody's raising money for a commercial project, it's not that unusual that if you invest $50,000 into a commercial project, you'll ultimately get $100,000 back, and you'll learn how it works along the way. So the best way to learn to invest in, or how to invest in, or be a commercial real estate investor is to invest in commercial real estate. And on average, these types of investments are about twice the return as the stock market. Now, every investment is different, read the prospectus, correct, et cetera. But, you know, I'm going to tell you, when people learn about something that on average is safer and higher return than the stock market, nobody ever goes back to the stock market. Nobody, once they get into real estate, ever goes back to the stock market. If they told you down at Wall Street there's something safer and higher return, you know, then nobody ever goes back. So you can convert your IRA, 401k, into a self-directed IRA and then use that money to invest in real estate. Now, there are some little rules that go along with that. You can't create a company, make yourself an employee, and pay yourself. You can't pay yourself money out of your IRA. So if your IRA does a deal, like buys and fixes and flips a house, all the profit goes back into your IRA, right? And that's the rule. So you can't mix your money and your IRA money, or there's some unique ways to do that, but in general, you can't do that. So as a real estate investor, here's how I use a self-directed IRA for a couple different things. Number one, I want to make this much money a year, right? This is how much money I need to pay for my life and my lifestyle. I have a nice life, nice lifestyle, and I need this much money to pay for it. So I don't actually want to make this much money, because if I make this and I'm using this, now I'm just paying taxes on a bunch of money I'm not using, right? So I'm just paying extra taxes. Now, I'm not an idiot, right? I want to make as much money as I can, just like everybody else. But every time I do a transaction, I have a choice. I can do it in my name, I can do it in my company's name, or I can do it in my self-directed IRA's name. So I can do on a deal-by-deal basis, I can decide, do I want to take the money as just taxable money for me, or tax-free money for my retirement account, for my self-directed IRA. And I'm doing this on a deal-by-deal basis. I keep rental properties in my IRA. These are long-term investments. They don't really generate enough income to affect my life or my lifestyle anyway, so I might as well take all of that long-term appreciation tax-free. The only thing better than making a lot of money is making a lot of money tax-free, and that's something that I use my self-directed IRA to do. So you can use your IRA to loan people money, but you can't loan yourself money. However, you can also use other people's IRA. So if you're part of a network and lots of people in the network have self-directed IRAs, well, although I can't loan myself money, I can loan you money. You can't loan yourself money from your IRA, but you can loan me money. So wink, wink, nod, nod. Who would like to borrow money at 5% interest? Anybody? Okay, that would be like, yes, everybody. Thank you. Please raise your hand. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll loan you money from my IRA at 5% interest if you loan me money from your IRA at 5% interest. So now I have 5% interest private money. That's an example of how people can work together using a self-directed IRA. There's a lot of things you can do with this. My son goes to private school. His tuition is $13,000 a year. It cost me $10. Okay, how do I pay for my son's private school for $10 a year? Well, my son has a self-directed IRA. It's called a Coverdale account. This is a self-directed IRA you can put in the name of a child. So his is called a Coverdale account. And I know every once in a while I'm going to do a flip, a wholesale flip, where I get a property under contract and I sell the contract. I sell my equitable interest. You can get a property under contract, sell the contract itself. When I know I'm about to flip a contract, sell a contract, wholesale a contract to another investor, I know I'm going to make about $15,000 on it. Well, I can choose to do that under my name, under my company's name, my IRA's name, or I can do that under my son's IRA's name, my son's Coverdell account. So when I need to pay my son's tuition, I take one of my flips that's going to make me $15,000, and instead of me putting my name on the contract, his Coverdell account puts its name on the contract, sells the contract, right? The $15,000 rolls back into his Coverdell account. Basically, we just made $15,000 profit. If that money is used to pay for his tuition, right, it's 100% tax-free. So this is how I put my kid through private school, and it cost me $10 a year. Why does it cost me $10? I have to pay the option fee when I get it under contract. Other than that, it doesn't cost anything. You can put a kid through college using exactly the same process, right, with a self-directed IRA. So it's a fabulous tool. We recommend people within the community set up a self-directed IRA, right? And then just keep this in your tool belt as a resource. You can loan people money, you can invest in commercial deals, you can even use that to hold rental properties, accumulate wealth, put your kid through college, get him one, and or to decide on a deal-by-deal basis whether you want to take your next check as a taxable check or a tax-free check. And that's the beauty of a self-directed IRA. Now, having friends with self-directed IRAs can be very, very helpful as well. There's tens of thousands of members of the Texas REIAs, by far the largest network of real estate investor associations across the great state of Texas. And lots of them have self-directed IRAs, which means you have access to lots of people that have IRAs. And if they have an IRA, a self-directed IRA, what are they looking for? They're looking for something to do with it, right? A commercial property to invest in, maybe a loan to make, et cetera. Real estate investors have an offer to private money lenders that's way better than anything they offer on Wall Street. Okay, if I'm going to borrow money from somebody's going to loan me money, I'm going to give them a first lien, high interest, right? I typically, when I borrow private money, I typically pay 10% interest. Private money is cheaper than hard money, faster, cheaper, and every way better than hard money. Well, think about it. I'm buying a $600,000, or somebody's buying a $600,000 property, and they're buying it for $400 because they got a great deal, and they asked me to loan them the $400. I can loan them the $400. I get a first lien, and I'm getting 10% interest on my money. On average, the stock market returns 7.5%. Sometimes more, sometimes less, sometimes much more, lately much less, right? I mean, it goes up and down. So this is on average much safer and much higher return than the stock market. Even if everything goes wrong on that deal, even if that person who borrowed that $400,000 gets hit by a bus and never pays me back, I get the property, which is worth a lot more than the $400,000 that I loaned to the investor to buy it. So safe, high interest, I don't know a better thing or a better way to invest than private money lending as a commercial real estate investor, as a real estate investor. And just having a self-directed IRA and being part of a network gives you opportunities to be a lender, or being part of a network gives you an opportunity to be a borrower. And these are all things you can do with a self-directed IRA. Okay, so welcome again to the Texas REIAs. How can Texas REIAs help you? Texas REIAs is a large network of REIAs, real estate investor associations, Austin, Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. And we learned a long time ago that the people who have more resources, network, and knowledge are going to be more successful in this business. A lot of times people, when they're getting started investing in real estate, really struggle to get the right knowledge. Maybe they're learning from out-of-state gurus. The thing about real estate is it's local. Laws are local, contracts are local, contractors are local, neighborhoods are local, buyers and sellers are local. Everything about real estate is local. It's not complicated, but there's a bazillion little details, and the details are all local. All those books out there talk about how to do it at 30,000 feet. Well, real estate is not bought and sold at 30,000 feet. Real estate is bought and sold at 0 feet. So where do you get the local knowledge? And that is from a local community. That's what real estate investors are set up to do. Sometimes investors are killing themselves trying to figure out this business and all those little details. So people do what? They read books and watch YouTube videos and listen to podcasts, and they might have to listen to 20 podcasts just to get the answer to a question. Well, that's a very inefficient way of getting answers to questions. Texas REIAs is the only association that is Texans investing with Texans in the great state of Texas using strategies that work in Texas. You don't have to sort through tons of useless information to try to figure out the answers to questions when you're part of a local community that's already actually doing it. So welcome to Texas REIAs. As you grow your network, as you grow your knowledge, as you grow your resources, you're going to be able to do more deals, and you're going to be able to do deals with much less effort and more joyously. All right, so welcome to the Texas REIAs. We have everything you need within this vast network, all the contractors, laws, procedures, the money, and the deals. So